Hello, this is Carillion with part 8 of my Total War Attila, set to very hard difficulty as the White Huns. Unfortunately, when I taped this, I apparently lost my sound at the very beginning, and so we're going to comment on it. We are going to attempt to do this at double speed, in the hopes of going through a little bit faster. This will be a smaller broadcast, but apparently I have to hold, so that won't happen. So we're going to talk about what we were doing. So we were being assaulted pretty heavily by this. I was looking at my armies. My goal was to talk about what I want to build. And basically, I would like 4 Lancers in every army. I also realized that my Grand Despoiler had been assassinated, which hurt because that's 3% down of all upkeep for my troops, and I have a lot of troops. So, my goal here was to get rid of a bunch of these agents bothering me, to send out my other agent who's in here to see what was up with Rome, in the hopes that the Western Roman Empire would still be corrupt enough that I could actually get gold from them. Because I keep hitting these big cities and it says, sorry, there's not enough corruption. And if the 28 regions that the Eastern Romans have don't provide enough corruption, then I really don't see how anyone other than maybe Rome will be corrupt enough to provide money from that. So that would be kind of a waste of time to have purchased. So we're going through the intern here, waiting to see what we can get and where we can go from here. This battle report is a lot of building. I'm going to fast forward through the interns because nothing is going on. And here we go through group after group. Macron needs to die. I say that a lot. Okay, so here we see that we had critical deception, critical misdirecting an army. Oh, they failed a couple. They get so many critical successes. I have such terrible agents. It's really, really terrible. One agent just has 10% less likely to succeed. He has 2 bad things that we'll see that basically just give him 10% chance of failure, which is terrible. They're like traits that are just horrifically bad. So here I come back to the east, looking at where the Sassanids are at the moment, and we do have an agent here in the east, or 2 agents. We're going to try to manipulate this guy, get him to join us, because I would really like to get to the point where I can do it. And my priest has again killed himself. I think that's like the 4th time. He's the one that ends up with just 10% down on everything. And so I bring this other agent up to go and help, kill some people. And I'm talking about, maybe if I back even further off, we can build and be left alone, because their agents are bothering me, and I figure if I leave their lands far enough, we have a chance of doing it. We're also talking about the need for food. We have several groups that are basically, if you look on the bottom left, you'll see their rivalry and low food consumption are a really big problem. So I'm looking at what I could do to increase enough food to do it. And I've determined that basically the one that needs to happen is the new food source. That requires 4 horde growth, and I'm currently sitting on 2. So we know what we have to build up to, and kind of decided the best way to do this is to move back. We're looking at some of the other things we need, ways to build up more food, because this horde is also down 8. So we have several hordes that due to rivalry, they were just not eating enough. And unfortunately, neither of these guys have enough stuff to get to the Grand Despoiler yet. They need considerably more rank and influence and whatnot to reach that point. Unfortunately, our good generals that we had at the beginning have both been assassinated. So we have 2 generals left that are good, and then several generals that are just really bad. We'll look at some of those later. So we talked about that, need to get up to Grand Despoiler. And then we look up here and are considering, just moving further back into this destroyed lands to get away from potential attack while I build. Because I've accepted the fact that I just don't make enough money to do it yet. So I'm looking at other things that would produce money. I didn't build this, did I? I did. Wait, did I go back in the same time? Don't I? Oh, that's right. This doesn't require any food. So that's going to increase money without food, which sounds great because I desperately need food for these people. Even without rivalry, they're sitting at 0 food. But I'm poor, and I decide money is apparently more important than that. And I'm going to back them up to get them out of the rivalry. So we're going to go to the other side of this borderline and send them off by themselves. So we start going slowly in the hopes of being able to still encamp. Sometimes I do this pretty well, sometimes I don't, and so I play it safe and just stop right there. Getting that extra movement or so in the forest could have been detrimental. So I'm leaving these guys alone. My lancers are now built. You can see that's that level 3 building that's right there. So I am capable to start building the steppe lancers, which are great shock cavalry. Just kind of something I'll need. The ability to bring in lancers to stop other cavalry, or to finish shattering units that the archers have laid waste to. And we're going to go through these turns fairly quickly. We're going to go through the end turn at double speed because there's no reason not to. Not much happens on their turns other than endless agent actions. So we'll just speed through the end turns here to make them a little bit shorter and a little bit faster for you to go through. Okay, here we go. So they've had success at misdirecting my army. They've tried to assassinate and failed, which was very good. They actually killed themselves. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to see which one is best. I'm basically looking at the chance of the best success, which is 6% there. And I'm talking about, what I want to do. We have a 9% chance of deceiving, but deceiving is just kind of pointless. It basically just stops them. That's not really what I want to do. So I have a 7% chance of just outright killing them. So I've decided the 1% chance of just deceiving is better. And all I succeed in doing is preventing him from doing stuff. It doesn't give me what I really need. We have a level up. So, looking at the level up, we want to more coercion, better chance of doing that. And then we look for zeal. I think if that's a zeal action, we want more zeal to attempt to coerce them more. So I think we take infiltrate. We do. That's like my good agent. Okay, this horde is back here. It's building up. We're trying to get to the point of food again. We're going to make more money next turn. We do want to have like 10,000 in the bank. We talked about that previously. And we now move him far enough away that the rivalry should be lessened. So we're looking at our troops here, trying to figure out what we want to do with our armies. We see that some of these guys are also having issues with rivalry, and considering potentially moving them apart, because that's really, the rivalry really does hurt. So we decide to move this guy, and we're looking as to where the best place might be, and we cross the river, which we went too far, because sometimes I'm really bad at that. So I just continue moving them away because if you're gonna not be able to encamp, you might as well take all the movement you can. Okay, so we're trying again, this time with our terrible priest, I believe. Maybe no, this is my last spy, I think. So, we're gonna, considering what we can build, what we can do, I think I end up just stationing the not-so-good spy inside this army in the attempt of helping the army out, as this 11 stack is kind of a weak army. Oh, we're ready for more tech. For some reason my top tech tree isn't showing up. That's kind of weird, and I've chosen to go for that one, which I believe is commercial buildings or cultural buildings. Maybe cultural. I think that's cultural, and we get it from. Okay, so looking at this, we're looking to see what we can build, and we see, we have our lancers. So I begin building lancers in mass, because I intend for every army to have at least 4 lancer units, and then 3 of them melee cap, or 5 lancers and 2 melee cap. They serve different purposes. You don't want just all lancers, because the lancers melee defense and just melee when outside of the charge is ridiculously bad. So we decided to just throw this guy into the army, give him some more experience, build him up. Looking this way, we're like, we'd really like to know what's going on over there, but can't really do it. Rivalry is still a problem, which is odd. We're out of the region. I'm not quite sure why, but we're making okay food, so we are building up to the point of getting more food. We're down to minus 25 in this horde. It's a step in the right direction. So, trying to figure out what all our little stuff have to say. Nothing too exciting going on, as we're just kind of planning out. Really, most of this video, like 90% of it, is based on the idea of we were not ready to get that close to the Assassinates and the mini vassals. So we have to improve this to the point where we can do that. Now, this increases food consumption. This place makes a ton of food. Oh no, wait. Sorry, I built the military, not the building there. Those guys are not able to move up yet. We really need to go out there and get some integrity, or get some experience, so we can do that. And so we zip around real fast, and I think we're finally ready to see Rome. That's now a group, and Neapolis is actually Western Roman separatists. So they have a rebellion right next to the capital. That's so at this, and I noticed that up here we had a destroyed city. So I'm wondering how bad Rome is at this point if they don't control most of Italy. So we end the intern, and we'll speed through this because, again, as a slight spoiler, not much happens in between turns for me. Western Rome, various groups are moving. A crown must die. I say that a lot. Okay, we have some groups that are attacking us. We were told if we assassinate this dude, we would get Tingris support. So, something, and it's that guy right there. He's annoyed us, apparently. So, I'm going to, of course, try to do that. Might as well try to get that taken care of. And so, we're going to go ahead and try. Looking at him, I thought he was the one that had the level up, but he was not. This guy in the army, they got experience for hanging out with the army. So I went to go click on some of these and then found out, I can't do it. I wanted to give my money. I decided I would go for money. And that didn't work. And I'm like, why won't you give me money? And the answer was, it's a guy in the army. So I come over here and I give him the ability to coerce. So we now can attempt to coerce with him if we want to. So we're going to try to assassinate because that was our mission. I don't think there was a great chance of success, but we did succeed. Just didn't kill him. And up in the north, you'll see the Attila or whatever have sent another army this way. And I'm like, huh, I have a little army up there that is most certainly not ready. And so I've decided at this point that they're going to start sending armies to the hinterlands. I just have to move back. So I'm beginning to send this useless priest to go and just scout ahead. Show me if the Sassanids have sent an army or Macron has sent an army north. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about that guy. So I've decided I need to migrate back towards Sassanid lands. I'm a little bit poor. Apparently I'm not migrating quite yet. Well, he was far away from Sassanid lands anyways. I'm mainly just worried about this dude who's way off by himself. And I see that, oh, maybe I should have worked on that one first. But that's fine. And so we're looking at what we can build, where we can go. And we, of course, are building more Lancers because we need lots of Lancers. Now we have an army that's actually more melee than range, which is not the intended purpose. I believe our goal is 12 archer units to the general, and then 4 or 5 Lancers with 2 or 3 like tribes people. So that mounted brigands I was actually debating getting rid of because they're long-term more expensive than some of the other units, but I decided I'd just keep them since I have them. And I still cannot get anyone to be a Dread Rider. I can build food! Build food! I did build food. Of course, this one already has food, but you know, that'll improve money and whatnot. Apparently I did not notice them this turn. It must be next turn that I notice that army sneaking around. Huh. Oh well, so let's go up and see Rome. How is Rome doing? Rome is separatist. Which means, amazingly enough, there's no corruption because the separatists own 2 kingdoms, or 2 places or whatever. So I was like, wow, that's sad. Well, we'll just go explore the world. Because a trick to keeping your integrity high as the Huns is to declare war on people left and right, especially people so far away that declaring war on them is meaningless. It's just saying, ah, we're at war. We'll all have more integrity and we're not going to get pummeled by yet more armies. So I'm just going to send this spy off to explore. I'm looking at the Huns. They've sent 3 stacks down, and apparently they destroyed Roman strength. And we look down, and Western Rome is at 20. They're 28th. I'm stronger than them at 21st. That's hilarious. Eastern Rome is definitely number 1, and we're gonna, you know, occasionally ask the Eastern Romans for money because, but then I gotta give it to us this turn. They only give it to you so often. They've lost Greece though, which is really interesting. So at that point, we come back here. Look to see if there's anything else. Totally ignoring the fact that an army's trying to sneak around at my little dude. And I believe I end this turn here pretty soon. Oh, I have to build. I'm looking to build more archers. I'm looking to see who can build more archers. You can build more archers. So I go ahead and build archers. You only want to. It's not worth building more than 1 turn's worth. So I believe at that point I've built lancers, I've built archers, I'm preparing my legions or my hordes to march against the Macron, and that is what we can do. really did not notice how close that army was over here when I was playing earlier. I got very lucky that they did not charge this horde. Oh, they're not that close. I thought they were there when I was looking earlier. So they are a ways away from that horde. When I was bouncing back and forth, I saw that army. I was like, ooh. Eventually I do realize it's coming, but... Okay, so we're going to go ahead and fast forward through this. The Huns are messing with Ravenna. Yay. And they're not fighting the Ostrogoths and the Separatists, which is interesting. See, now this horde shows up. I'm like, oh look, this army's come to play with me. That's not nice. Luckily, they were not close enough to actually get to me. So I'm going to have to figure out how to take care of that. Okay, we have a new family member, which is great. We seem to be prolific. And I'm like, oh, these people now have to move. And you get some skills because... Oh, he's boring. My guys are so terrible. So we're going to just move him as... We try, of course, for the 75%. I think I fell because sometimes I'm better than at others. Let's see. Yeah, I just moved a smidge too far. So he runs as far from it as he can. The goal is to bring all my armies together here with the intent of distributing some of these troops to protect the smaller horde. Give out some of these lancers and archers to really protect who I have. I got rid of a lot of my mercenary troops earlier because I didn't need to pay for them. And I'm like, oh look, I can't really cross this river. So I go to there and then I'm like, well, maybe I can cross the river. So I try to cross the river, and look at how much movement that sucked up. And I was like, okay, fine. So I come up here, and I trade out lancers for some other stuff. I figure out that I need 4 lancers, and I need lots of archers in this other one. So I'm counting to see how many archers I have. And I decide, well, we'll just give you 2 lancers to finish off your stack because you have the number of archers that I want. Then I try to move him up to claim archers from this other group, and I find out that he's done. So that was fun. So I've kind of holed up here, and I've messed up because two of my 3 armies are not going to be able to encamp. I am still making 5,000 this turn, so it's not the end. Spending time building up is not the most enjoyable thing, but you have to do it now and again. If you don't spend on your infrastructure, and you're forced, especially if you're forced to buy mercenaries to support your army because you don't have the military setup, then you really are in trouble. Now, I decide I'm going to go kill your dude. If I kill your army, your leader, 13% chance of killing your leader. He's a 2-star general, it appears, or at least a 15% of misdirecting, but I don't really care about misdirect. I want to kill him. If I take out a better leader, then it'll hinder the army. Might reduce movement. Critical success. He is dead. So I chose well, and that army is now not as well off. Maybe it's a 2-star army. Oh, that's weird. Oh, maybe that's traditions of the army, not the general. Anyways, well, if that was a better general, I still killed him off. For some reason, I was thinking the stars were for the general, but looking at my own guys, I know that's not true. So that must be the army rating. Okay. So we come closer to here, so that we can level out these forces. And then we take him, who's now weakened, and we're like, you know what? We can now build troops. So he's going to come to his little... I think I was just looking to see who this guy was. Okay. I needed to know which one was which. Maybe not. I thought I was going to build troops here. I think I'm just going over how well the horde is likely to handle itself if I split up. Okay, and then I decide, you know, I hear it's really great in Bavaria this time of year. Oh, would you believe I still can't get a grand spoiler? So, we end the turn. And my dude just kind of runs on his own. So we're going to go ahead and fast forward through the end turn again because they're not that exciting and they take quite a while at this point in the game. There's so many of them. And since I've gone and introduced myself with my agent to so many of them, I have to watch all this go through. My crowd must die. I say that again. Okay, we have a couple of things that hit us because why would they not hit us? Oh, most of what they're doing though is not terrible. So we lose several of our Dread Raiders, and we find out that we are massively low on food. So I'm looking at these guys, and I'm finding some people that I can go ahead and just throw in to there, because my guys can't, and no one can become a grand spoiler. Very sad. I also have realized I can't just keep adopting everyone with the same dudes, because sibling rivalry from adopted siblings, that hurts. That hurts is all I will say. Loyalty is occasionally an issue so far in this campaign. Not that anyone has done anything about it, but I have to spend to make them loyal. Actions and whatnot. Oh look! Can I persuade you? I've succeeded in not dying. Well, that's good. I mean, eventually he'll be better because of that. Oh, so we have another spy who showed up because those people really hate me. I did sack their city a bunch. So, and I destroyed another one of their cities. So, I mean, I can't say that I have not earned their ire. Okay, so I move him to the other side of this border. I've decided, you know, at this point, if they're going to come send armies at me, then we're just going to go fight. But I also decide, wow, I'm so low on food, I really have to still try to be spread out. So we're going to move around a little bit in the hopes of not wrecking each other. Looking at this army is pretty good. It's ready to go down and wreck some face. They're one that can actually recruit. And what I think I need to recruit here is a mix, but we'll see. You walk. You're gonna walk and stand by this guy. Oh, you're gonna come and get troops because troops are important. So I'm gonna give him 4 lancers. And do I give him the other guys? I forget. I think I may. I'm debating whether or not I should give him the step-mounted things. Apparently I give him 1. 2. 3. So I decided to give them all. Which, that one, the army needs a little bit of, he's going to need a little bit of, archers remaining, but he is almost to what I want him to be at. We are so devastated by lack of food this turn. It's amazing. Okay, well we now have we're now at least we're now at least in the black. Excuse me, I need to get a drink of water here. So, looking at what we need to build, we build a couple of both. We go back and forth, and I basically buy the one that's cheaper to upkeep. I think is what I end up doing. Oh, not that. That's expensive. So I buy 2 more lancers because I need those lancers for the long run, and they're like 20 20 gold less a turn. So if I'm going to build them all, I might as well start with the less expensive one. So looking at this, I'm debating where I need to go. I'm like, oh, I can send them way over here and be on the other side of this border. And at least then I should cut down some on the rivalry. That army unfortunately can't build anything that's worth getting. The shaman unit is silver chevrons, which is pretty awesome but expensive. And I'm not ready to buy expensive cavalry yet. When I will, I'll get that one archers that are awesome in melee too, because that will be amazing. So we camp out here, we're making money, but we're losing food. So next turn we will have attrition, but we're now in separate regions. We're not all camped right next to each other, so the attrition should go down. It was also winter. We hit winter, and we hit everyone being right next to each other at the same time, and it was devastating. Let's go ahead and speed this up a little bit, because there's no reason to zip through it. We're not saving a lot of time with that, but we might as well save what time we can. Oh, Atropatine, you eventually will die. Oh, so the army ran away. Where could they go? Where could they go? They love to gather information on me. They're doing it over and over again. I don't know if it's just an easy action or what. And we looking at 128. That's bad. So we put some people into office last turn, so they're trying to figure out how to do it. And of course, they're going to use their own influence, so the king doesn't have to. We need the king to have as much influence as possible. So here's this army. It's coming down. Doesn't look like it's going to get to us next turn, which is fine. And they should take desert attrition. I'm going to attempt to persuade this guy because I really do want more agents. I want a bubble of agents. Unfortunately, he was successful, but not successful enough. Okay, so at this point, I've decided I'm going to take out and hit 2 cities this turn. Maybe it's next turn I hit 2 cities? Okay, it must be next turn I hit 2 cities, so never mind. I decided I'm going towards 2 cities. And so, of course, those 2 cities are going to be Bedesir and Isatis. Isatis has now had enough time that it should be back to its full value. So I get 2,000 something gold, just like I did when I sacked it the first time a couple turns ago. I go inching forward as far as I can. Try very hard not to, prevent myself from camping. Over here, you got some stuff. And I look and see how bad you are. -5 for being clumsy, -5 for being unlucky. And then minus to zeal. You were like the worst. It's the worst. He has this -10% just cuz. So we've improved dogma so he can persuade, and we give him some more authority in the attempt of, actually helping him perform those actions. So we're going to be moving forward. We're kind of coming together. We don't want to... There's an army up there in the north. I don't want anyone to be, alone. And we're not in winter, so I think the food will be okay. No, he moved too far, so he's not going to be able to camp. Which is poor. But it's okay. I'm debating if I can get that far, and the answer is not if I want to make money. So we're going to move this guy first. We're going to bring him as far as I think I can. And did I bring him too far? I think I may have brought him too far. I so brought him too far. So we just bring him to there. We didn't go further forward across the border, mainly just because I hadn't figured out if there were armies back there yet. And that had me concerned. I think I also moved too far at this guy. Yeah, I do. So we're like, oh look, we're so far. But my armies are at least close together. Did I move this guy closer? I forget. I have 1 encamped. he can't go anywhere without ceasing to be encamped, so we just re-encamp him. And I'm looking at what I can build. I kind of like the Lancers, but I already have a Lancers camp. So I'm debating which one would be most useful. And I look and see where I want to go, and it looks like when I'm looking at these that for this horde, the archers encampment has the top horse archers. And so I'm going to go with the archery here in preparation for buying the best horse archers one day. Now, I'm not entirely sure which are the best horse archers. I haven't gone and looked at like the battles just to find out which ones I like the best or something. It's possible that I may already have the best archers through like the shamans or something, or whatever it is that gets me the Shept. But usually you don't get your best archers till your tier 4 building, so it should be noticeable. I don't think I built it though. I'm not quite sure why I didn't. I forget why I did not. Okay, so we finished filling up some archers there. That army appears to be ready to go. We're going to end the turn. So we're going to go ahead and fast forward again through this end turn. We're just racing out to meet people, add all kinds of new people I can declare war on if I need to improve integrity. I mean, literally I could declare war on like everyone out here and it wouldn't matter. They're never going to trade with me. It wouldn't really hurt. And you know, I may do that just because they also may throw money at me to reduce it. Oh, my grand spoiler is gone. Woe is me. Woe is me. So I go try to get him back into position, but he doesn't have enough influence to actually become a grand spoiler yet. That's poor. We do have a lot of kids. We're getting a lot of kids. And they're like all sons, so getting a lot, which is, you know, pretty good. It means that I will be able to have lots of people to choose as far as generals, because my generals kind of suck. I picked up a lot of bad traits already in this campaign. I am very disappointed whenever I have to pick a new guy. Okay, so we're at 14,000. We're like, oh, we might as well move you. I cannot exploit corruption. No one is corrupt. Seems like such a wasteful ability. I don't really understand. Maybe you could exploit the corruption in your own kingdom? Maybe that's what you could do as Rome. You could like suck up your own corruption. That'd be kind of funny. But if Rome's already fallen this far, I don't think I'll ever see an empire big enough. Okay, so our generals gained some stuff from being a general fort, and we're starting to look and see what we can give him. I decide, nope, I'm going to put my king in here. Which is sad because that was actually a good general. I'll need to go and find him, because I don't think I currently have him as a general in my armies, and I have some really bad generals. Okay, so now we're getting to the action part of this video, where we're going to go and we're going to go smack down some cities. Now, I am not afraid to use auto-resolve in this. I'm just going to tell you guys that now. If auto-resolve can be used effectively, I intend to do it. This looks like a pathetically easy fight, although for some reason they really don't give us much in the way of odds. I mean, looking at that, that small force was supposed to kill half my army, or a third of my army. So I move this guy up to my king to support with his 19 troops. And at that point, this is an easy victory. We go with a balanced win. We don't fight 4 units with our 30 or 40 cav, because that would be a joke. And we lose 98 men. I wish there was a button where you could say, don't let the general fight, because that's actually, the damage to the general is the worst part, in my opinion. My king ranked up, so we get to give him some stuff. He's pretty old, so it's not he'll probably never get to that final part. Hopefully some of the newer ones will. We're going to encamp as many camp them. I think I can camp that other guy too. But so this guy is as far out as he can do, is barely reach Bedashir. So I send him in to go and take Bedashir. And look at that. This infantry army is expected to somehow beat my Gav army by a lot. So I sat there going, well, that's not going to happen. Now, I probably could have just fought it there, but why fight it with one Cav army when I can bring two? So I bring up Kiev, this general, and then I go to attack. And it's still not good. And I'm like, really? You're going to take away 25% of my force? I know I'm not going to lose 25% of my force here. 25 to 30% of my force. 20 to 30%? Anyways, it was ridiculous. I'm looking at this army going, how? How could this possibly? Especially since a lot of times in Attila, they sally out of the city to meet you. And at this point, the balance of power, I don't know, I figured there's a good chance they would. And even if they didn't, it was totally worth, you know, making sure that we got what we needed. So I go ahead and fight this out on the battle. Fight this live. So we're going to go ahead and go through this battle, as it was the one big fight for the evening, and talk about how it went. So the first big question is, do they come out to meet me? If they come out to meet me, then this becomes really easy. If they stay in the city, I'm basically talking about I need to send up an archer or two and burn down one tower, and then just avoid the other towers. I have massive archer superiority. I have excellent shot cavalry that will be coming in on this. I will wreck them if they otherwise. So, although of course my hope is that they come on out. The balance of power, especially before the other army shows up, is apparently heavily in their favor. We have a dry day, which is what we want. We're going to take all of our melee cav. I guess this is a smaller army. I mean, this has our smallest amount. I hit the wrong button. I'm looking to see where my allies come from. I meant to just... So I've started the battle. Not that it really matters. This was pretty much what I was going to do anyways. So I bring up my cav, and sure enough, they're coming out. So I'm like, well, if you're going to come out, I will come here to meet you. And then from behind me comes massive amounts of reinforcement troops. My alignments this time worked pretty well. There were some issues. Oh, so then we have their one cavalry unit coming out. I put myself on flaming shots and I began running away, shooting them as I go. The cavalry engagements are often going to be some of the worst. So I grab two cavalry units and bring forward. Then I keep pulling back. I never even need those two. Basically, the archers have just sundered this unit. And so before those cavalry units are even in there, they're done. And so there I am trying to shoot myself apparently. So I bring this army back. Okay, so now I'm like, well, let's see if they keep coming out. And they appear to still be coming out of the town. So I start moving all the archers to where they need to be so that I can actually keep them together. Move the generals and the melee cav so that they're all organized, so that when I need them at different points in the battle for whatever comes up, I can more easily select them. So I move the generals to the end because I really rather they not get hurt at all. It's kind of ridiculous how much damage the generals take at times, since they really shouldn't be in the fight at all. So now I have my brigands, my lancers, my tribespeople all together. I grab my archers and I move them forward. Now, this one tower that is located right here does more damage to me than their whole army put together, by like twice. Towers are terrible things. So I'm bringing up my cavalry. We're preparing to assault the city. It'll be good. We got a heavy shot because we have no cavalry to deal with. It's just infantry. We move forward a little bit. Our vast line of archers to start being able to attack. And that's going to start getting us shot at too. But once they get shot at, they begin actually doing stuff. So they begin moving forward to fight us. And you can see that one unit is already getting pummeled by the tower. So we move forward a bit because if we're going to do this, we might as well get closer and bring in some of the side archer units and try to get them to start moving towards us to get away instead of just standing there. And they do. They begin moving forward, and you can see that we're getting pummeled by those archery stuff, mainly from the tower. And their units are already starting to wilt beneath the arrow fire. So my lines are so big that I kind of create a V with them. So that we can fire as many as possible without without getting close. And need to see withering hells of arrows coming. We pull this line further forward because they're now out of range. We form our lines here because we missed that one. Pull this group forward. Keep them within range of our archers, while simultaneously making it impossible for them to come get us. Now we have a stone here, a giant little hill stone. It's going to mess up our lines a little bit, but it doesn't really change the overall effect of it. I just have to plan out a little bit ahead of time and move a little bit sooner than I otherwise might have, so that my cavalry can get around it. And when he says that, my reply is the battle was never not in our favor. They're getting a little close. Spears against my weak melee cavalry would be terrible, so I back up. And then that's wavering them, so I kind of pull forward with that unit, keep pulling back with this one, as this battle is quickly turning in my favor. It becomes pretty apparent that there was, so I was at this point debating sending some of these guys in to deal with their archers in melee, because I was actually taking more damage than I expected just from, I thought it might have been their archers, but no, it's just the towers are terrible things. Move this back a little bit, and then I'm like, why are you going towards them? Don't go towards the spears, that's a terrible idea. Okay, so at this point I'm like, you know what, this is where my shot cavalry comes in. So I grab one shot cavalry each and I start chasing them down at these bows. Instead of using my archers to do that, I'll use the thing that I actually bought to do that. Then I'm like, you know what? I can go into melee with these guys. There's a lot of them. So I start to do that, and then I realize, that's a terrible idea. Why am I doing this? And so I grab these guys and I go, no, we'll just put you over here. And then they don't listen to me. So I have to do it again. No, seriously, I really don't want you to fight there. Come back over here. And their archers are shattering. The battle's over. We never really needed our melee. We have one group that got badly injured, and that's just because they took the majority of the barrage from it. And we had a decisive victory. So we lost 126 men. Now they said that we were going to lose somewhere between 20 and 30% of our army. So that would have been anywhere from 600 to 900 men. So we did vastly better than what auto resolve would have done. And there are times that that's going to be the case, where for whatever reason auto resolve just gives us horrifically terrible ratings, and I know, well, I can do better than that, and so we'll definitely play those. So at this point, we're getting towards the end of the video. We don't have much left. I'm talking about how this army got hurt as I'm waiting for this to go up. And we look at what they've done. We counted the kills, and their entire army basically got 42. So 84 of them, the kills were from that tower. Tower was painful. We didn't get as much from this one as I expected. I was hoping for more, especially since the garrison was apparently strong. But we're taking lots from sacking because we want to, definitely get that as much income when we sack as possible. Over here, we're improving this general. We're going to give him that because I want to get up to the different parts of... I need to make this guy a general. I think I messed up and took him out. I was playing around with my generals for a bit at the end here. And so... I give him a Gladius. That's not amazing. And I'm like, never mind, we don't give him this stuff. Let's find out if we can give a better guy in here. And I begin looking and I'm like, there are no good generals. So I'm like, well, who's part of my... And I'm like, oh, this guy is. And then I look at him and I'm like, -5 morale, terrible. -1 loyalty, terrible. You suck, Avatal. Although I think I may have put him in. So I'm like, you're terrible, but you're a family member. What do I do? What do I do? And I end up putting him in. Which may have not been the best thing. Eventually we'll be done with the Eastern armies, I guess. I don't know. We gave him a recurve bow, so he's going to be better at that. I don't know if it really matters. We gave him some really cool stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're not... But then I truly think that I thought he was Kiev, and that's this one. I'm like, oh, I threw the wrong dude in here. You're really terrible. And I'm like, well, can I put anyone else in here? And then I'm like, no, these guys are all really terrible. It's a quandary when everyone's really terrible. But I do feel with this guy just because I decide he's too terrible. Once they get out of the east, putting him back in will matter less. So I just give this guy whatever. He's a placeholder till I get out of the east, probably. And so at this point I'm going to try to encamp everyone I can because we want money. You're already encamped. I think it was just checking to see if he could move it to a better place. Now we are definitely going to move towards Makran next turn. I may pillage Isatis and Bedasir one more time, or more likely I will send this group to terrorize them and hit Bedasir again with these two. Possibly hit both Bedasir and Isatis with these two and hit one with this. I don't know. So many possibilities. So many things I could do. Really would like to be able to find out where the Makran armies are before you get too close. We're hiring a bunch more archers because, again, 12 archers per army. 7, 8 with the general of melee. The goal is to win the battle before we ever get near an enemy. So we're just looking at this, considering what we can hit again, what we'll do next time, on our way to just devastate Makran. Now I looked at the Merc pool and I did not find any onagers. That's a problem. Yeah, I'm gonna have to double check and make sure that there are no onagers, because That's going to be poor if I go into poor without them. Well, that's the end of the video. Like and subscribe. Sorry about the commentary on this one, but we'll go back to normal next time. Otherwise, have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.